Hi, I'm Eric Westrich. We're here exploring co-working, and I'm here with Darin Andersen
Hey, how are
of
you?
Cybertech. And I have trouble saying what it is because he has so many different organizations growing like crazy. Um, but you were one of the first ones downtown to get not the accelerators, but the actual place to work and incubation going. How'd you end up there? Where did that journey start?
There was a group of us about 6 or 7 years ago that included San Diego Downtown Partnership, the mayor's office, and we were exploring, what can we do to bring people back downtown? I mean, at the time, a lot of people were moving out of town. And so we started talking about ways to do that. And one of the things that came out of it was Evo Nexus and some of the original co-working facilities. And I was really taken with the idea that modern work takes place in an urban environment. And despite all the great ideas we had and the work that we did, the real thing that changed the dynamic was this new wave of millennials coming into downtown space and wanting to live, work, play downtown. So I happened to kind of stumble into that idea, and then the generation that came in behind that was that generation that wanted to work in an urban environment showed up.
Okay, and so how'd you handle that? You had this
Well,
idea that this demand was there.
Yeah, I'd say more than anything, I had this specific idea about starting a cybersecurity hub in San Diego, and combining that with the notion of doing that in an urban space was probably the aha moment. Again, so many things are accidental. I had been working for some number of years to bring cybersecurity and to promote San Diego as a cybersecurity HQ, a place where cyber was happening. Very unique, it's basically us and the Beltway and San Antonio, Texas, kind of that area, but San Diego was a place where I felt we could help bring jobs. So that was the first iteration, was bringing cybersecurity into into an incubator called CyberHive. So we established CyberHive actually with the help of the CyberHive in Maryland in the Beltway, and got that up and running. And then you could see what was coming, which was the Internet of Things. Everything else connecting up to the internet. So your smartwatch, your wearables, your what I call the drivables and livables, all connecting to the internet. So my context of that was, well, you have to secure that, and it has to be made private, otherwise the products won't work or they'll backfire in some ways. So that started our second incubator, which is the iHive, focused on building products of the Internet of Things. And then most recently, we've opened up 2 new incubators. One is xHive, and that's for emerging things. And again, sort of by coincidence, accident, we had many companies that were being attracted to our technology crowd and opening businesses inside of iHive with drone concepts and robotics, these things that I call disruptive that haven't quite hit mainstream. So in my mind, these are the emerging things. And so xHive became the idea there. So we have 3 different distinct incubation spaces in what is called Nest, which is our co-work space. And inside of Nest, these specialized incubators build their businesses with the help of the community. And Nest is an interesting concept that we've developed, I think, because it demonstrates what we've seen, which is co-working brings in a lot of lifestyle companies that are super helpful to companies that are trying to get themselves started. So it might be marketing companies, legal services. So by surrounding these companies with those other services, we build out a whole ecosystem that helps the startups and the other companies. So it really is good and meets my mission of helping the local economy, something that was foremost on my mind when I started it.
So you're busy trying to take over whole buildings, what it looks like, because every time I go there, there's more doors and more people touring. What's your biggest challenge in being able to satisfy all these people? What are their big demands?
I think that I don't know if it's their demand, but it's our context around it, is we made a decision to be like a hotel for startups, meaning we wanted to have a concierge touch. And so we look at every little piece of paper on the floor as something that can't be there, in that we're trying to take great care of our customers. And we see them as, we call them members, but they're really our customers, right? So making sure that they can come in, sit down and work, and that's all they have to do is like focus on their business. And again, this is, it's hard to do. I mean, it takes, large companies, it's taken them dozens of years or, tens of, a long time to kind of figure this out. And I think we've had to get on top of that and provide, excellent service and quality delivery so that people don't notice the things that we do, just so they can be there and work.
What's the best thing a customer's ever said to you? Something that made you the happiest or proudest?
We put a gentleman who had retired from the U.S. military after 23 years of service, special ops, flying all over the world in helicopters, injured, came back, couldn't find work, had a lot of skills, and he said, you saved my life. It was that kind of thing, that he found through a program that we were doing, which was to take military folks and kind of repurpose them, just by helping them understand how to be interactive, and it's touching.
That retired military, I appreciate that actually a lot.
Sorry.
Last question is, where do you see this in 3 years? Do you own half the property downtown, or?
Well, I don't think I'm going to compete with the Irvine company who owns this building and many others. But I think that we think we've got a model here that's working and helping companies, and I also think that we're part of a broader trend of co-work that's happening around us. And I think that as we were talking about during the warm-up for this, the way people work has changed, and it's certainly changed in the context of our time in the career market, and the physical space in which people work, I think, is going through another iteration of change. And I think that it's exciting. It really matches up with this developing, emerging gig economy that we were discussing. And I think that Nest and our iHive and XHive and CyberHive incubators kind of mirror that gig economy. So we're helping, on the one hand, prepare companies for their future to help them build great companies, but we're also building that ecosystem around it that helps an entire community. So I think that's a model that can be expanded in San Diego, but also transplanted into other markets. That could be Seattle or Indianapolis, or even Silicon Valley.
Well, great. Thank
Awesome.
you for your
Great.
time.
Thank you.
And
Great to see you again.
thank you for you do, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.